There is a celestial blue frequency that has been coming through strongly to the earth since what I know, 2017. But I've heard from many of you who've been witnessing these blue light frequencies, these photonic blue light codes, and blue light beings for many, many years, and for some of you since childhood. And most recently, I've been noticing these waves that I call the blue light of truth. So I'm going to be talking about truth today just because of this, to help add a little bit more consciousness to maybe how you understand truth and how you understand lies. Because your human energy field cannot lie. It is not capable of lying. There is no way that it can lie. It can't compromise the truth. It can't even kind of give little white lies. It is just not possible. Your entire energy field always presents as truth. So spirit doesn't lie. Humans can lie, but spirit doesn't lie. And so that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about today. So if you are new to my channel, I am Nancy Rebecca. I am a retired registered nurse, but I've been working as a psychic clairvoyant for 30 years now. I've done, just tens of thousands of readings studying the human energy field, just because I'm like one of those really crazy, curious type people that just has to know, has to understand. So I've just looked at energy fields over and over and over and over and over again, trying to solve these problems. And when I found out that the energy field can't lie, but people can lie, it was like a light bulb went on. And so it's taken me a lot of years to really trust that. But when I say that people lie, sometimes it's not that you are intentionally lying. You just don't know. It's kind of hidden from you. So I'm going to do a little deeper dive into that. But I am going to say that when the blue celestial beings of light came through a couple of months ago, they said, we're going to be bringing through waves. This was July 23rd was the first gentle wave that came through. And then we had August 10th come through. And now the next one is going to be around mid-October. And then the next one after that's supposed to be in the spring of 2025. But even if you are listening to this story, my lesson that I'm teaching you about the human energy field, if you're even listening to it 10 years from now, I promise you it's going to be just as valid for you then as it is now. So, yep, I did create a little teaching, and I created a blue light of truth video that helps you shed the lies, the ones you know, the ones you don't know, while helping to illuminate the blue light of truth within you and within your life. And it's free. So absolutely, you just put in your email and immediately you will be sent the links to the free teaching and the free video. So let me go ahead and do this, dive into this to see if I can help you to maybe not understand, but more likely go, huh, I'm going to have to think about that one for a minute, because I'm going to share with you some stories that is going to bring it to light. And I remember when I experienced those stories, I was the same. I was just like, how is that possible? So anyway, let me get into it now. So let me just share with you for a moment about my clairvoyant sight. And my clairvoyant sight is just maybe a little bit different than the average clairvoyant. So average clairvoyant, often when you close your eyes and you visualize and you see images and you see pictures and you see colors, you're using your clairvoyant sight. And for me, I can do that. But for me, I can see images and colors with my eyes open. So if you just happen to be walking down the street and you said, oh, I love your garden, and we're standing there and we're chatting about all the beautiful flowers and everything, I can see your energy field. And so if it's something really big that is completely opposite of the person that I am seeing in front of me, I can see that, I don't know if I would call it a conflict, but it's a little off kilter. I can see the fields a little off kilter. However, what I will say is most of humanity, if they're talking to someone, even if you are not a psychic clairvoyant, you're going to notice, oh, something's a little off about them, but you may not be able to identify exactly what that is. But for me, I can see the human energy field, so I can see when there is something that is off. So when you're coming in for a session with me, then I would look at the energy field and I'm going to tell you what I see in the energy field. But a lot of times the client might not be able to relate. And so some of these stories I will share with you about that. But here's your saving grace. Your saving grace when you have things in your energy field that expresses truth about you. Your saving grace is most people can't see it. They just can't see it. They don't know it. They're not intuitively sensitive enough. And so you're just going to kind of carry it around. Nobody can see it and you're fine. However, it's, let me look at my note. What is not saving you is that, what did I say? Your only saving grace is that most people can't see what's going on in your aura and in your light body. So, but what's not saving you is that you may not be able to sense or see what's going on in your own energy field to know what's really true, what's really going on for you. So I have a little story where there was this new, I don't even know if I should share this. Yeah, I'm going to share it. Okay. So there was a new person that moved into the neighborhood and Yvonne and I were unloading the groceries in the car and they were going to come over and just wanted to introduce themselves. They're new in the neighborhood. And for me, what was unfortunate is I could see this person's entire aura, and inside the aura, all I could see was X-rated images, right? So just X-rated pictures, X-rated movies, X-rated this, X-rated that. So I'm just trying to look at the person's eyes and I'm trying not to see their entire energy field. And, but then after a while, it got to be a little too much. Like I was just kind of overwhelmed by all the images in this person's energy field. So I just said to Yvonne, hey, I'm going to go ahead and head back to the house, take these groceries in, and I'll see you in a little bit. And so then Yvonne came in the house probably about 30 minutes later, and she said, wow, there was something kind of off about that person, like really off kilter, like kind of weird. And I just kind of chuckled to myself. So the reason why I wanted to tell you this story is because I could see what it was. She couldn't see what it was. She's more empathic, more of a feeler. Something felt off kilter. She couldn't put her finger on it. And so when I shared with her what I was seeing, which I have to tell you, I don't have any judgment about any of this stuff, but it was really, that field was really overloaded. And so I said, yeah, it might have felt a little, I can't even remember what the word she was saying, but it was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. But it taught me that even though I can see, and I'm going to be neutral about it, but other people probably, when they would meet this person, would also go, wow, something's off. And this person may wonder why people kind of give them distance or why they don't maybe want to get to know them more or things like that. So you never know. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that this person would probably benefit greatly by learning how to meditate and clear it all out of their energy field. Then they would be much more approachable. So this is what I'm talking about, where you may try to present yourself one way, but your energy field does not lie. So for any of you out there that may be watching soft pornography or something, just clear it out of your field. And I do have free meditations on my Intuitive Mind website, intuitivemind.org, that you can download or that you can tune into and just help you wash it out of your field. So often when I'm doing a reading for someone, they may not be able to identify what I'm seeing in the aura. They will disagree with me and they will tell me it's not true. Now, I'm going to do a little talking about how hard it is to be a psychic. It is not easy. And it's not easy because you have to work so hard to prepare yourself, and you want to be clear and you want to present truth and you want to be neutral. But if someone disagrees with you, and they're challenging you, it's tough. So they can disagree with you. It's not true. And I know that the energy field can't lie, but in the beginning, I couldn't make sense of it. So if the person was telling me that is absolutely not true, I would believe the person. I would believe that I was not capable of seeing everything perfectly. Or I would think, wow, did I get something wrong? Wow, did I not clear my own energy field ahead of time? And maybe I'm looking through this energy veil filter that doesn't belong to that person. And so I would retune in again, and I would look at their blue light of truth energy field again, and I would see the same thing over and over again. And the more that the person denied it, the more your spirit lights it up, especially if your spirit really wants you to know about it. It'll get brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. And I'm just like, I don't even know what to say, because it's almost like your spirit is not going to let me move to the next psychic insight until I address this. But if you can't relate to it, or you're like, nope, that's off, and I'm going to tell you a few stories that's going to make it more real for you, then there's not much that I can do about it. I just like, okay, let's move on. I'll tell your spirit, let's move on. We'll try to address this later. So, all right. So I have a really great story for you. So in this first story, I was reading a brand new woman. She was a brand new client to me. And, I'm tuned in, I'm looking at the energy field. So in the energy field, I can see this bunker. So it's like conspiracy theory, the world's going to fall apart. And it absolutely could. I don't blame people for wanting to be safe and keep their families safe, because we have some leaders out there who they could be a little trigger happy with the nuclear warheads, right? So, but I could see in her aura, there were shelves of food, cases of water, there was just a lot of that planning for the world to end. And it was strong. There was a lot of fear around the world, not trusting the government. There was a lot there. So I'm sharing this about her. I'm sharing this with her. I'm going along. And then I kind of stop, and she's got this really kind of look on her face like, what? Like, where are you coming from? And where in left field are you? And she said, no, that is not me at all. Like, you're way off. And I'm like, wow. All right, let me clear my field a little bit. So I clear my field again. I go to tune into her name again. I get all nice and clear, and boom, it is there. Now I'm telling you, it was one of those things. I can't go around the back door. I can't get a sense about what's happening. Her spirit really wants her to clear this out of her energy field, but she is telling me it is a lie. That is not anything that I do. It's not in my energy field. I don't know what to tell you, but you've got the wrong person, right? And so from a psychic's point of view, it's a hard job, because you're sitting there and you're just like, wow, how did I miss the boat? And then it was like, okay, well, maybe it's a past life. And then I go to look, and it's like, no, it's not a past life. It is this lifetime. All right, so I'll save you all the lengthy tidbits. But there was this moment where I think I had managed to move on. And then there was this moment, she was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, what? She goes, that's my father-in-law. And I'm like, what? And she goes, my father-in-law lives with me. And he's a conspiracy theorist, and he saves food and water in the basement. And he's got shelves, and he's always talking about the big one and how we have to really stay safe because some really bad things are going to happen. And everything I had told her, she was able to validate. But guess what? It wasn't her. It was his energy field, and his energy field affected her energy field. And so she's not feeling good. She doesn't know why she's not feeling good, but she's carrying all this information of his, we'll call it programming, or when someone is, what do we call, projecting. So think about the dinner table when you're all talking about politics, right? And it's like you're blending your auras, and you can just pick up this information. So I was able to heal, help her to heal it, to get it out of her energy field. She felt so much better because she just felt like herself again. And then I taught her some techniques, mostly just running your energy, which is free on my website. Taught her the techniques so that she could continue to clear out of her own aura. And so we were able to figure that out. So this is what I'm talking about, these blue waves of truth that are coming in. The Syrian star beings are really talking about these waves, and that saying these waves are going to be going on for the next 5 years or more. And the blue celestial star beings are saying, we're thinking right now, as we are dissolving lies and getting closer to the truth, we're thinking, oh, I lied to the neighbor, or I lied to my parents when I was, 16, and I snuck out of the house and I said I didn't. The star beings are saying the truths that we're going to be realizing is beyond the beyond. They're showing me that this truth, this blue light of truth, is coming from the furthest parts of the galaxy. And as this showering of truth comes in, dissolving illusion, we are going to more rapidly awaken than we had before. Like consciousness, we're going to be able to walk into a crowd with our eyes wide open. And we're not going to be able to compromise our own truth anymore. And it's going to become challenging in the next few years to even lie, even exaggerate, because your field is going to be so full of this blue frequency of truth that it's just not going to give you any wiggle room. All right, so let me tell you, I've got some great stories around this. Okay. So I did a reading for this woman, and I did know her. And I had done several readings with her over a few years, not on a regular basis. Again, she was feeling a bit off. She didn't know what was wrong with her, and she thought maybe as a nurse I could take a look at her energy field. So immediately I saw a man's energy standing in her aura. And she said, who would that be? And I'm like, well, he's kind of young, kind of looks kind of like he'd be a cousin, a nephew, a brother, a grandson. I don't know. Like, I'm just naming all these things because I don't know exactly who it is. He's in your energy field. And I said, because his energy's in your energy field, it's causing your chakras to collapse a little bit, and that's what's causing you to not feel very good. Now, from my perspective, it's pretty easy fix. I just move him out of the energy field. But a lot of times you want to kind of resolve what the issue is. Like, why was he in the field? Because he can come back into her energy field if we don't kind of energetically resolve the issue. So she assured me that I was totally wrong. And in fact, every time I tried to tell myself that I was wrong, the image, just like I said, it got brighter. the client started to get really irritated with me, like really irritated, like I was a broken record. She was irritated. She was getting really short-tempered with me and annoyed. So I finally just said, all right, I'm sorry. I must be way off. Don't know what this is about, but I will definitely move on, which I did. And eventually, and I said I skipped over it, and I felt myself leaning towards only reading superficially so I wouldn't cause more conflict with my client. 2 days later, the client phones me and she's mortified. Why? Because 3 days before the reading, she did have an argument with this man. She was able to tell me who he was, and he was some type of family member. I think it might have been a husband's younger brother or something. Oh, she was apologizing up one side and down the other. And she was trying to explain to me that even though she'd had this argument, it wasn't the most significant thing going on in her life, that she had a lot of other things going on in life. She had an idea in her head what I was going to identify the problem was. And when I identified the problem was this man in her energy field is causing her aura chakras to collapse, that was not within her realm of truth, right? So her truth as a human being, you can misguide yourself. But her energy field did not lie. And so she did come back. When we moved the young man out of her field, she felt gazillion% better. And so this is what I say about this is where we're going with the blue light. It's bringing in so much truth into the world that even those who could lie they were talented at lying, that they lie so much they don't even know what the truth is. They're going to start looking kind of ridiculous because you're going to be able to see it right away. Well, not see it, but feel it or know it. Let's say you're going to know it. You're not going to be able to buy into their lies anymore. You're not going to be able to feel bad for them anymore because you're going to be able to feel and know that they're not telling the truth. And so again, when I talk about if you don't have that blue light of truth meditation to dissolve more of the light, you're going to be one step ahead of the game, maybe 100 steps ahead of the game if you start clearing that blue light earlier. All right, now here's a really interesting one. So I had a mother who phoned me, and because she knew that I worked with children, and they lived on the East Coast of the United States. So she had phoned me and said that they were having some difficulties with their child. She had a friend that lived in that same area. I had worked with their child with great results. All right. And so her child was having severe anger issues, like really severe anger issues, throwing things across the room and all kinds of stuff, screaming and yelling. And so it was a distance reading that I would just record. I would tune into the child at a distance, and then I would just record what I was picking up and seeing in the child's energy field. I would record it and send it to the parents. Well, I wasn't able to send it to the parents. I was really struggling on whether I should send it to the parents at all. Because what I was seeing in the child's energy field, let me look at my notes, when I tuned in, there was so much abuse in the child's energy field. And I realized the child's anger was trying to burn off the abuse, because that's what happens with anger. It's really great at burning off abuse. You don't have to be angry, but just let that red energy flow. So here I was, the child was using the anger to clear the abuse and trauma. It was so real in every way. I questioned if maybe I should be calling Child Protective Services. And I struggled because I didn't want to call the parents, because if they're abusing their child, they're probably not going to be honest with me about it. but it was so true and it was so real in the energy field. And so I struggled for a few days, and then I finally just picked up the phone and I thought, well, before I send the cassette tape, which is how I did it back then, I'm going to call and talk to the mother. So I phoned the mother and I gently eased into the conversation. And of course, she was really upset. And she said, absolutely not. My child has not been abused, has never suffered any kind of abuse, not ever, 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 not with anyone. And then she said, we are very attentive and protective of our children. She was really angry at me, okay, for even implying such a thing. And she goes, in fact, we take more measures than the average parent because of the work that I do. And I was like, oh, what work do you do? And she said, I'm a therapist that specializes in sexual trauma. So then does that mean, I asked, that you hear their stories all day long in your sessions? Yes. And can I ask what you do to clear your own energy field before you come home to be around your family? And she said, nothing. I had the biggest aha moment. And this is why I'm sharing this story with you. It's like one of those, what? You mean being around people can impact my energy field in such a way? Yeah, it can. And so what we realized was that the child was picking up the energy from the therapist's clients. And so I had been able to do a lot of the healing, but then I was able to teach the mother how to meditate, teach the mother how to run their energy, how to cleanse and clear once the last client's gone for the day, run their energy with the intention to clear out any stories that they heard, any traumas that they heard about, to present time the energy field to really clear it before you come home. Because our children can be like little sponges. And just think about your own household. What kind of energy do you put out in your own household that your child can absorb? So I share that story with you because the child's energy field wasn't lying. Like, it was telling truth, but it just wasn't the truth, right? It was somebody else's stories overlaying the child's energy field. So, yeah, if you have anything to say about that in the comments section, I would love to hear about it. But I'll tell you, it has always left that huge impression. And I've always wanted, it's like, gosh, I've always wanted to make a video about it. And I never thought about it till I was writing up this talk about the blue light of truth. All right. So, when the mother said, I am a therapist that specializes in sexual trauma, then and teaching, it was like the mother was just like, this just cannot be possible. It's like, it just can't be possible. But she did start running her energy on a regular basis. But even for me who saw it, was like, this can't be possible. But it was possible. All right, so the blue light of truth, it's a free link to the blue light of truth, little teaching and meditation. So, and I will put the link here. But now I'm going to tell you another story that was not a truth, but it looked like a truth. All right. So I had a really dear friend that lived in Florida, and I went to visit her, and she wanted to take me to a place that's called Casadega. And I think it's like on the East Coast, a little north, and Casadega, and it's a big spiritual town. They have hotels, they have grocery stores, they have houses. And when you go visit this town, you get mediumship readings. Like all mediums live in the different houses, so you can just walk around and sign up for mediumship readings. It was a Sunday, so we did a little church service where we got a healing. It was a lot of fun. And then we went and observed a mediumship demonstration, which was pretty new for me. I really enjoyed that. And then we went over to the hotel to get a bite to eat. And we saw that they had like a list of tarot card readers or psychic readers so you could get a reading. And for me, this is what I do full time. So I thought, well, this could be a blast to get a reading. So I did sign up for a tarot card reading because I'd never had one before. And when it was my time to go up, she set the timer and she's shuffling the cards. She's having me shuffle the cards. And she asked me if there was anything that I really want to focus on, get some information on. And I said, well, actually, I have a family member that I'm really, really worried about. And they've got a severe drug addiction. And it was really severe. Like they were homeless as well. And that I had tried everything. And I just want to know how I could support this person. So the tarot card reader lays out the spread and then looks at me and said, they're going to be fine. They're going to get better. They're over the hard part. You're really going to see them progressing now, and they're going to get much, much better. And I was really, of course, I was really relieved and happy to hear about that. But I was like, how can she be so certain? Now, the reason why I say that is because I work as a psychic, and when it comes to telling the future is not certain. It's just not certain. And so people always want me to tell them about the future, but so many things can change. So it's just not certain. But anyway, I was really, really hopeful. Well, it turned out not to be true. And my dear family member survived, and now they're doing better years later. But what it was when I went back to see why was she so certain that things were going to get better, and they got much worse for like 5 more years. They got much worse. What I realized was in my energy field, I saw them as whole. So spiritually, how often we taught to see the person as whole, see the person as healed, don't see them as their illness. So I was doing all of those things. I was offering prayers, golden prayers of light. I was calling on Jesus or the archangels or Mother Mary. I was offering healings, and in between, I was still when I could find them, make sure they got something to eat, or if they needed a pack of smoke. So all of that, but I was remaining optimistic. It was true. In my energy field, it was true. My optimism was true. My prayers were true. My healings were true. My seeing them in the whole light of healedness was true. But we're working on 2 people here, because you've got the other person. And for the other person, that was not true. And for the other person, they still were working through a lot of things. And so this is why having a psychic reading, sometimes it just can't be accurate, because there's more than one person involved. Now, I will say about the family member, which it probably took another 5, 6, 7 years, but now doing incredibly well. So, and clean and sober. So I do have another story to tell you. So hope you're in for another story. So I'm sharing this because the energy field, your energy field doesn't lie. And so when you're doing that meditation, you're dissolving any lies or belief systems or patterns, and you're dissolving those. You're going to be able to start really tuning into your pure, authentic, true self. And this might not happen overnight, but with your intention and just keep running that energy, meditating, then and focusing on truth, noticing when you might be lying, noticing when you might be embellishing, noticing when you may be listening to somebody else who's not in alignment with truth, then it's going to improve. All right, here's my one final story for the day. I have thousands of them, but these are the ones that really stood out for me as far as what I saw in the energy field, but it messed with my head. Now, this one really messed with my head. This was easily 20 years ago. All right, so it's a story about aliens. So if you get freaked out by aliens, then you just might want to stop the video here. But it's a story, aliens. Okay, so I have a client that comes in to see me, and they're very distressed. And they had heard about me through word of mouth. So she comes to sit down, and she says, I had an experience, and I was abducted by aliens. And I thought, okay, all right, tell me more. I was abducted by aliens. I was taken up to their ship, and they implanted me with something. And I was wondering if you can see what they implanted and if you could do something about it. Now, I want to be really honest with you. This was 20 years ago. Aliens were not my thing. I don't know that I actually believed in them. And I'm a registered nurse, and I know about mental health. So now I'm caught between a rock and a hard place, because if she's delusional, I don't want to feed into her delusion, right? So I don't want to say, yes, I see you were abducted. Yes, I see this implantation. Yes, yes, yes. But I'm going to tell you, here's the problem. I had a room full of aliens standing in my room. That's a problem. And they were the grays. So they're like 3 feet, maybe 4 feet tall. They've got the big almond eyes. They're just standing there next to her. And they came in with her. And I saw them before she even mentioned being abducted. And so I kind of played the middle road. So I didn't tell her I could see aliens in the room, but I just told her, I believe that what you are describing, that you believe it to be true. I believe that you believe it to be true. And I can't even remember what else I saw in the energy field, because as you can imagine, if you see aliens, I think there were about 5 around. That's going to kind of wiggle your mind. Anyway, all right. So I said, I'm going to make a referral to a doctor. And this particular physician can be very trusted. And this particular physician is very open-minded. And you can share your story. I promise you can share your story with this doctor, and that they will take this very, very seriously. And she was so pleased, and she was so happy, because, I mean, yeah, if you were abducted and implanted, wouldn't you want to be able to tell a doctor about it? All right, well, here's the thing. She went to the doctor, and she was able to point, where she felt like she was implanted by something. And they were able to do like an ultrasound or an x-ray. She had to have surgery, that there was actually like this benign growth of tissue in the place where she felt she'd been implanted. And she literally had to go have an operation. So, for the sake of potential sanity, what I had to tell myself in my mind was, it could really be an implant from an alien from being abducted in a ship, or maybe she intuitively somehow knew subconsciously there was a growth there and fabricated a story about aliens abducting her so that she could get to the doctor and have it taken out. Or, yeah, it was super real. I saw the aliens. I couldn't deny it. And you're probably the first ones that I've ever told the story about seeing aliens. But now I'm an alien believer, and I have more alien stories, but I'll save those for other videos. But the blue light is very similar to the shirt that I am wearing. It's a very lapis color. It really started coming through in surges in the last several years, and it came in surges through the pyramids. But these particular waves are more gentle. They're just gently washing away the lies that we tell ourselves, or the lies that we hold in our energy system as a truth, but it's actually a lie. And from hearing all these stories, ultimately what I really want you to walk away with is you can pick up what's in somebody else's energy field, not easily, not a stranger, but yeah, if you're living with people, you're going to pick up on their stuff. They're going to pick up on your stuff. You have shared issues. So if you're married and you have a family, you're going to have shared issues that you're working on. But as a nurse and as a psychic, I'm going to highly, highly recommend either you download one of my free normal earth energy, cosmic energy in the flow, get your energy flowing, do it on a regular basis. And if you work in a job where it can be a little on the toxic side, then you're just going to have to make yourself do it at the end of every day so you don't take that home to others. All right, that was a lot of stories. That was a lot of time. And I will love to hear that you hung in there with me through the whole thing. Make a comment in the comments section. Have you ever noticed anything like that? Because remember, everybody could hear my stories, but everybody reads the comments. I know somebody said nobody reads the comments. And I'm like, yeah, a lot of people read the comments. And so you're going to help to teach them more. All right. All right, take care, everyone. Enjoy, and I look forward to sharing that gift of the true blue light meditation with you. And you can just click the link below and get it for free. All right, take care, everyone. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.